Hey guys, welcome back. In this lecture, we will do some more work with jQuery and Rails, and here we will make a text editable using jQuery and then save the updated value in the database. So now first let me show you the page where we will do this stuff. Okay, but before I'll show you that stuff, what you need to do, that if you are following the entire playlist, you know that I created a repository for this, and there I'm pushing my code. Okay, so what you can do, that you just need to check out the branch that where I am working on for this particular lecture. Okay, so how you can do that? So I'm showing you some commands on the sublime. So what you can do, just if you are not if you are on the main branch for now, okay, so what you can do, git fetch hyphen a or git fetch hyphen all. Okay, and what this command will do, that this will fetch all the remote branches into your local system, and then you just need to do this command, git checkout feature admin panel, because this is the branch where I'm doing this stuff. So you can keep your project updated with the my changes. Okay, so you can just check out to the feature admin panel, and then you can start following this lecture. However, if you want to do this within any of your existing branch, then you can do this as well, because this doesn't have to be concerned with the specific branch. This is just an example of how we can make a text editable using jQuery and then save it into the database using AJAX. So you can do with any of your current page as well, or current feature as well. Okay, so this is just a recommendation. If you do this with the existing remote branch, that is feature admin panel, that's good. If you want to try with your own branch or your own pages, that is also fine. Okay, so now let me come to the point, that what we will do. So here you can see that I have this admin panel, and here I'm showing the list of all the books. When I go to the show page of a book, here you can see that I'm showing the book title with, or book name with all other attributes like its author name and its price name and its uh, cover image. Okay, and here we will make only the book name editable using jQuery and Ajax. So let's start with that. So first we will add an icon next to the book name, and that will indicate users that they can edit the book name by clicking on the icon. Okay, so let's do that. So what we need to do, just to open the project repository first. Let's close this git command pages. Okay, and into the show page of the admin books, inside the admin panel, you can see that here I'm showing the book name. Okay, so what we need to do now, we need to add a bootstrap icon here. Okay, so first let's correct the indentation and assign an id here to this book name, or we will add this into some span element. So id, and here we can add book name. Okay, because we later need this id. Okay, so just close this span, and here you can add an anchor tag, and just assign the javascript void 0 to this anchor name. Okay, because we will not provide any real value, we are just using this for on click event purpose. So we will just use the javascript void and then 0. Okay, we do not need to provide any value to real url value to it. Okay, and after that we will just add a id to this anchor tag. Okay, why? Because we need this anchor tags id to perform the on click event. So just add the id attribute here, and value of this id you can provide anything, but let's make it some meaningful. So I'm providing book name editable, book name and editable. Okay, and then close this anchor tag, and inside this anchor tag we need to assign a bootstrap icon. So what we can do, we can use an I class, and then here we can use I. Within the I tag we can use the class bi pencil. Okay, and then just close this I type. Okay, okay, first correct this is spelling. I type pencil, you just need to write pencil. Okay, just save this, and now when you refresh the browser, you will see that here is an icon for this pencil tag. Okay, now we need to add a div element with css display none below this s3 tag. So just switch to the show template again, and here what you need to do, that below this s3 tag you need to add a div element. Okay, so and you can assign some id to this division element, and we must assign that some id, because we will use this id to show or hide this element when user clicks on the pencil icon, or when user clicks on the cancel button. Okay, so to display this event or this division on pencil icon click, we just need to add some id here. So we can add id like book editable area, book editable area. Okay, and then add the style display none, style display none, and add it, the semicolon. Now in this div element, create an input element with value of existing book name and some unique id. So just inside this division, what we need to do, we need to create an input element of html. So input, and then type, its type must be text. Okay, and then we can add some class to it, like form control, class form control, and then let's say mb2. And now we need to provide some value to it, and what its value should be, so value should be the book name. Okay, so we can just copy this book name and we can use that book name as the value of the input field. Okay, so just provide this value here. Okay, and then we also need to provide some id to this input element, and id could be like, let's say, editable name. Okay, so just provide the id to it, so id, and then editable name. Okay, save this. And after this input box, we need to add two button elements, one for sending update request to the rails controller, and one for canceling the update and return to the previous state. Okay, and make sure you provide unique ids to each button as well. So first add the button, like button type button, and add some class here, like let's say class btn primary. And then we need to add some id here, and id could be like, let's say, update book btn. Okay, or update book name. So id update book name. Okay, and then we need to add the data book id attribute here. Why? Because we need the id of the book while sending the request to the rails controller, because we are just trying to update the title or name of an individual book. Okay, so we need the id of the book in that case. Okay, and we know that to get these ids, we can use the data attributes with our ajax request or with our dom elements. Okay, so we will use the data book id attribute here, data book id, and then just provide the @book.id here. Yeah, now provide @book.id. Okay, and save this. Now what we need to do, oh, first provide the button text here, that is update, and close this button. And now we need to do the same thing for the button cancel. Okay, so we can just change the style of this display, so btn danger. Okay, and then we don't need the data attribute on the cancel button. Okay, and we just need to change the id as well. So what we can do here, cancel update. Okay, and then just change the text of this button, that should be cancel. Okay, save this. Okay, but now if you refresh the browser, you will not see this element. Why? Because we added the style display none. Okay, now let's open the application.js, and there we will add the on-click event to show this editable area when we click on the pencil icon, or when we click on this icon in the browser. Here you can see, when we click on this icon, what should happen, that this title should go disappear, and instead we need to see input box with two buttons, update and cancel. Okay, so what we need to do, we just need to add the on click event inside the application.js. And what you can do here, so just come inside this copy, after this copy link block, and here you just need to fire an event on that link. So just to copy the id of that link, and what the id we provided here, book name editable. Okay, so just copy this id name, and here you need to paste it, and then fire an on click event. So on click, and here just call the function. And in this function, what we need to do, we just simply need to hide this book title area. Okay, in the show.html you can see, we just need to hide this s3 element. Okay, so to hide this s3 element, what we need to do, since we have only one s3 element into the show page, so we can directly hide this s3 element as well. But it's better that we will provide some unique id to it. So let's provide id, and then id of this s3 should be, let's say, book title. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to hide this h3 element, and then after hiding this h3 element we need to show this book editable area. Okay, so in our application.js, what we can do here, we can simply use the hide function, that is book title dot hide, and then just copy the another id, that is the id of the div book editable area. And what we can do in for this, dollar, sorry, dot show, and save this. Now when you come to the browser and refresh the page, you can see that when I refresh the page, okay, I'm again seeing the same content, that is the book name with editable icon. When I click on this editable icon, you can see that what I'm seeing, that there is an input field and there is an update button and there is a cancel button, but nothing is doing right now. Okay, when I click on the update, the request is not going to rails controller, and when I'm going to click on the cancel, this is not hiding this input box and the update and cancel button as well. Okay, so now when user click on the cancel, then what we need to do, we first need to switch back to the previous stage, that is showing the book name with editable icon only. Okay, so what we need to do here, we just need to update the same uh, on click event for this cancel button. Okay, so what is the id of the cancel button? Okay, so cancel update, just copy this id and switch back to the application.js and do the same thing that we did here, but in the vice versa manner. Okay, now what we need to do, when user click on the cancel, we need to hide this book editable area, and then we need to display the book title area. Okay, so you can do it here like cancel update dot on click, and then function. Okay, and into this function, what you need to do, just copy these lines and just change the events, hide the book editable area, that is hide. Okay, and then show the book title again, so show. Okay, just save this and refresh the browser. So save this, switch to the browser, refresh it, and now when you click on the editable icon, you can see that the input field for updating the book title is showing now. And when you click on the cancel, okay, you are again switched to the previous state, that is only the book name with editable icon. And you can test it again, click on this icon and you can see the input field, click on the cancel button and you can see that we are now in the previous state. Okay, so we are at the halfway mark now. Now what we need to do, we need to do some ajax and backend stuff to save the updated value in the database. So first we need to add a member route to update this book name. Okay, so switch to the config routes. Okay, so what you need to do, just open the config and then route file. Okay, so in this routes file, what you need to do, since we are working in the admin namespace, so we need to add the member action inside the admin namespace. Okay, and if you want to do the same thing with member action inside the normal book resource, okay, outside the admin namespace, you can add the member action here. Okay, but what I do, that I'm adding this into the admin namespace, so I would like to add the member action here. Okay, so okay, so the http verb for that member action must be patch. Okay, why? Because we are trying to update something for the book, so our http request must be patch. Okay, and what we can provide here, let's say update book name, update book name, and then on member. Since I just have only one member action for now, so what I'm trying to do, that on member. Okay, if you want, you can create the block like this as well, so you just need to replace this collection with member and you can do the stuff like that. Okay, but since I have only one member action, so I'm using this on member syntax. Okay, now, after adding this member route, let's switch to the books controller into admin namespace and implement the update book name action. Okay, so just copy this action name. Okay, and we all know that after defining the routes, we just need to implement the actions. Okay, so just open the books controller inside the admin namespace, and what you need to do here, after the destroy action, you just need to add def update book name and okay, and into this update book name action, what you need, that you first need to find the book. Okay, but we already have a callback to find the books for all the member actions. So what we can simply use, that we can simply add this update book name into this array. Okay, so whenever a request come to our update book name, it will first look for the parameter id. Okay, and then it will fetch the individual book from database for our action. Okay, and then we can perform operation here. Okay, and now what we need to do, just simply respond to do, and then format. And in this respond to block, we just need to update our book. So since we can get the at the rate book from the set book callback, so at the rate book dot update, sorry, update. And the update, what we're trying to update, we're just trying to update the name only. So update name, and then whatever the param name that we will be sending from the ajax. Okay, so let's say we will send params and then update, sorry, not update, book name. Okay, so we will send only book name. Okay, and now what you need to do after this, format dot JS. Okay, I'm just using the format.js because first we are sending our request as in the JS format, because we are sending the AJAX request here. And if you want to render some template after performing the AJAX, you can use this format.js command. Okay, and one more thing that we need to do here to successfully update the book name, that is skipping the verify authenticity token check, just like we did for deleting the books in previous lectures. Okay, so just open the books controller outside the admin namespace, books controller. Okay, and here you can see that we have skip before action verify authenticity token. So what we need to do, we just need to use this line into the admin books controller. Okay, and here just paste this, but we just need to mention our action name now. Okay, why? Because we just want to skip our verify authenticity token check for the update book name. Okay, so just add the syntax here, I, and then add the action name here, that is update book name. Okay, and save it. And we are adding this line verify authentic skip before action verify authenticity token, because without this, if we will send the ajax request on our books controller, we will get csrf token error. Okay, so just to avoid that error, we are just skipping before action verify authenticity token for update book name action only. Okay, and now what we need to do as the next thing, that we need to implement the ajax call into the application.js. Okay, so just switch to the application.js, and right after the click events for the this editable property, first let me wrap the words. Okay, so after word wrap, what you need to do, just implement the ajax call here. Okay, and we will call the ajax when user click on this update button. Okay, and what the idea of the update button is, that update book name. Okay, so just copy this update book name, and inside the application.js just add an on click event to this id. So update book name dot on click. Okay, and then function, and here we just need to send our ajax. Okay, so we can just copy our ajax syntax from some previous commands, so just let's use that. Okay, so we just use this ajax command and paste it here inside this block. You can do the same thing as well. Just this copy paste, because I hope you are now familiar with the ajax syntax. Okay, but we just need to be careful about that, because we need to change the value of url, we need to change the value of type, and we need to change the value of our params as well. Okay, and we can remove this success option for now. So what will be our url for ajax request to update our book name? Okay, since you know that we edit this route, what route? Update book name. Okay, and it's a member action for the books controller. So what we can do, just copy this book name and go to the terminal, and here you just need to do rails routes. Okay, and then grab, paste the action name. This will only provide the route name for this. So here you can see update book name admin book path. If we are using it in some erb file, we would use, we should use like update book name and admin book underscore path. But now since we are sending ajax, so we will copy this line. Okay, like admin books id, and then update book name. id is the parameter that we are sending as the argument for our member action for the books controller inside admin name space. Okay, so just use that URL into our URL format here. And what we need to do here, just sorry, just use this till syntax, and then convert this id to some dollar. Okay, because we need to interpolate this. Okay, now but how we will get this id when user click on the update book name? Okay, so here you can see that in the show name, show a page, what we had did, we added the data book id attribute to this button. Okay, when user click on the update, we can capture the data attribute of this book id. Okay, so what we can do here, in the application.js, we just need to fetch the book id here. So just above this ajax, what you need to do, let's say const, and then book id, and then dollar this dot data, and then book id. Okay, this will give me the, or this will give you the id of the current book, or where the user is going to click. Okay, so now we can get that. Okay, so we can just use this book id as the argument here. So just replace this id via book id. Okay, so this will be your url now. And what is the type of our url now? So since we are updating, so and we defined it as a patch action, so just provide patch here. Okay, and then we just need to pass the data. And what will be the data here? So data will be the name of the book that we are trying to update. And what is the name of the book here? So here you can see that name of the book is inside this input box, that is editable name with id. So its id of the input box is editable name, and we just need to pass its value as a data to the ajax. Okay, so what we can do here, we can simply find the book name as well. So const book name as dollar editable name dot well, and just at the semicolon here, save the file, and just to provide its value as the data element here. And here you can see in the books controller what param name we have used. So we just simply use the book name. Okay, so we need to pass this book name, name of the book as the book underscore name inside application.js. So data name must be book name, and then pass this book name to it. Okay, so book name. And don't be confused, this is just the naming convention of different things. Okay, since we are sending this parameter name as to the rails controller action, so we are just following the snake casing here. And since it's the value that we, it's a variable that we defined inside the js file, so we just use the camel casing, which is the convention of the javascript or jquery. Okay, so just don't be confused with the naming here. Okay, and now save this. So here you can see what we did, that when user click on the update button, we are just getting the data attribute or the book id of the currently visited book, and then we are getting the updated value of the text, or updated value of the book name from the text area or text field. And then we are sending a just request to the admin books book id and update book name, type is patch, and the data we are passing, that is book name. Okay, whatever the value user has updated. And here you can see that I also added the loader event as well. Okay, so now save the file and switch to the browser. And here what you need to do, just refresh the page and make some space in the terminal where the server is running. Okay, so after coming to the terminal, make some space and click on this, and then just add, let's say, volume 1. Okay, and again into the terminal, you can see that nothing happens now. And when you click on the update, you can see that a request coming to the rails controller, and the book title is now saved as the power of positive thinking volume 1. That means our ajax is working. But still you can see that after sending the ajax request, the dom is not changing, it is still showing me the volume 1. Okay, and here you can see when I click on the cancel button, what it is showing, it is showing the previous title, that is that was exist before the update action, or before we updated it. Okay, and if we refresh the page now, so you can see that it is showing the power of positive thinking volume 1. Okay, that means things are working, but we still need to reload the page. Okay, so just to handle this page reload, we need to do something with our ajax call. And there are two ways. You can either render a template. Okay, that's why we added the format.js into the update book name action. Okay, so the one and easiest way is that you can simply render a template to update the dom after performing the ajax. or the more simple way that you can update the DOM elements using some jQuery event handlers, okay, to update the DOM after saving the updated value of the book name into the database. Okay, so we will not use the template rendering now because we already see how we can update the DOM after performing an AJAX and by rendering a template. Okay, so now we will simply use the jQuery events. Okay, so what we can do here, just to switch to the application.js again. So here you can see we need to add the success function here. Okay, so add the success function, and here we just need to change the events. So by the way, what happens when a user successfully performs the ajax request? Okay, so we need to hide this book editable area and we need to show the book title. Okay, so just copy this, and we can use the same thing in the ajax function as well. So just copy this, save, and sorry, correct the indentation and save the file, and now perform this action. So switch to the browser, refresh the page, click on the editable icon and remove this volume 1. So when you remove this volume 1 and click on the update, you can see that we are again in the previous state, but we are still not seeing the updated title, and we until we refresh the page, and once we refresh the page we are seeing the updated title here. Okay, so it's a kind of bug. Okay, so what we need to do here, you can see in the show.html of the books, we added a span tag initially into the s3 tag. Okay, and we provided an id that is book name to this span tag. Okay, so now what we need to do, we just need to use this id to update the DOM with updated book name or the current book name which is saved into the database. Okay, so just copy this and come to the application.js again, and inside this success block, what we need to do, dollar, and then add the id here that is book name, and then we need to update its text. And what text we should update, that is the book name that we are sending as a parameter into the rails section. So book name dot text and provide some text value here. Okay, now if we update a book name, okay, then it will reflect on the DOM as well and saved into the database as well. Okay, so now we can maintain the proper consistency between what we have in the database and what we are showing on the browser. Okay, so save the file and switch to the browser, run it, and when you click on this, so you can see volume 1. So let's add this volume 1. Okay, and now click on the update. When you update here, you can see the power of positive thinking volume 1, and when you click on this editable icon, you can still see that it is showing the power of positive thinking volume 1. Okay, and when you remove this volume 1 and click on the update button again, you can see that this is showing the updated value. And now if you refresh the page, you can still see the same value. So now there is some consistency between the data we have in the database and the data we are showing onto the browser. Or in other words, you can say that now both client side and server side functioning is working properly, and that's it. So in this lecture we saw how we can make an element editable using jQuery and how we can store the updated value into the database using ajax. I hope you liked this and you found something new in this lecture. Now let me remind you again that what we did in this lecture. So first you need to just to fetch the admin panel branch from the repository that I will share into the description of this lecture, and then switch to the admin panel branch in your local. Okay, and then you just need to update the show template that first add the book title id to this s3 element, and then inside this s3 element add a span tag for book name with id book name, and then add editable icon. Okay, and after that editable icon, what you need to do, just add editable area division with css display none, and into that area division, what you need to do, you just need to add input field with two buttons, one to update the updated value, to save the updated value into the database, there we will call the ajax, and one to cancel. Okay, why? Because it is not necessary that after clicking on the editable button user always wants to update the text. He might want to cancel the request as well, because sometimes it might be possible that user by mistake click on that or intentionally click on that editable icon, but he decide to not update the value. Okay, just keep it as it was. Okay, so we just need that editable value as well. Okay, and so that's all from this, and then you just need to add this on click events into the application.js, and this custom action, sorry, the custom member action into the books controller, and don't forget to add this entry into the routes as well. Okay, and that's all from this lecture. Try this lecture at your end and let me know if you have any doubt or question regarding the content of this lecture. We will meet into another lecture. Till then, tata, goodbye, take care, and stay safe.